Good afternoon. This is my first coronavirus homily that I'm hoping to post online. We'll see how it goes. This is kind of new for me, doing something both in video and in audio, but I wanted to do this for our parishioners and for anyone else who may be looking for some encouragement, some building up during some jarring times for us here in the DC area. So we're coming to you live from St. Mary's, and even though we are at a little bit of a distance from each other, we're actually slightly more intimate. You get to see my study. This is where I pray and prepare my homilies and so on, and it was just easier to record from here today on day one than from inside the church. I think there's also better acoustics for recording something small like this. Anyway, brothers and sisters, today we hear in the second book of Kings, on this third Monday of Lent, we hear from the second book of Kings the story of Naaman the Syrian. Now, Naaman was a powerful general, he was an occupier, and he was sick. And when he goes to the prophet to find out what he should do, he's told to go and wash 7 times in the Jordan. Now, for those of you who have been to the Holy Land, you know full well the Jordan is not exactly the kind of river you wash in, not even back then. It's a slow-moving kind of brown, muddy kind of a river. There's nothing terribly impressive about it when you look at it. It's not as large as the Mississippi or some beautiful, clear, crystalline alpine stream, right, that's flowing. The Jordan is it's a stream in the middle of the desert, right? And yet, it's God's holy river in the Holy Land, and this is what the prophet told Naaman to go and do. And Naaman says to him, he says, well, look, we've got better rivers than this back at home in Syria. Why should I bother doing this? And his own family, his own household points out to him, if he had told you to do something crazy, like hop on your foot 7 times, rubbing your tummy and scratching your head, that you would have done. But going down and washing in this muddy river, that you're not willing to do? And I can't help but think that this is the perfect reading as the DC region goes into something of a lockdown to try to combat the spread of the coronavirus, especially from our most at-risk populations. Because what have we been asked to do? Really, what have we been asked to do? When it comes down to it, we've been asked to stay in our homes, keep local, to wash our hands a whole bunch, and to just exercise a little bit of physical distance from each other. Not even, staying miles apart from each other or speaking to each other through windows, but just speaking 6 feet apart, 4 to 6 feet apart, right? So that's what we've been asked to do. And jarring as it may be for us not to be able to be in church together or to be able to go to our usual haunts and so on, this is not a hard thing unto itself. It's new for us. It'll be temporary, but there it is. If God had asked us to do something severe and difficult, we might have actually had an easier time believing it. But this silent danger that surrounds us with the potentialities of this virus, we're asked, in view of that silent threat, to do something very simple. And I hope that people do take it seriously, as Naaman should have taken seriously the Lord's exhortation simply to wash in the Jordan River. Okay, so there's that part, the kind of blatantly obvious parallel between the scripture today and our life going on right now in DC. But what about some other thoughts, in the midst of this physical distance that we have from each other and from the Blessed Sacrament? Well, I always like, and I find this in my own life especially, I like to focus on yearning love. We know that the highest love to which we are called is agape love, a total self-giving, self-sacrificial love. But nonetheless, the love that is a yearning is not a lesser love, right? It's a different step in love, it's a different phase in love that leads us ultimately to that giving love. But yearning is something that we do well to spend time focusing on. In fact, the saints speak beautifully about how sometimes the great lover of our soul, Jesus Christ, I think it's the Carmelites who say this, every now and then in prayer he seems to withdraw from us, to be distant from us. We have that sensory deprivation of him. Why does this happen? Why does he allow it to happen? Why does he permit it to happen? Why? Precisely so that we can embrace him all the more when he comes back, so that our hearts can yearn for him. And I don't know about you, but when you yearn for something, you start to see it in your mind's eye in much sharper relief than you ever might have, even if it were right in front of you, right? If you're yearning for food on a long drive and it's been a long time since the last exit with food at it, right? You can imagine that hamburger, you can imagine that ice cream sundae, whatever the case may be. It becomes very real for you. Well, in the distance that we have to keep temporarily from the reception of the Blessed Sacrament, that yearning can be a powerful tool, so that when we are directly in his presence, we will so love him and so overflow with a sense of giving and thanksgiving for him that what a change that will be in our spiritual lives to have taken that big jump. So never poo-poo, never, dress down a yearning love. Now, we focus on the yearning love because of the distance we have right now from receiving the Eucharist. But we are still capable of a giving love, a very powerful giving love. And again, as with the situation with Naaman the Syrian, it's not a strange or a foreign thing that's being asked of us, right, in terms of our giving, right? What can we do? Well, we're still permitted, thankfully, to go to church, right? And here at St. Mary, Mother of God, we have opened up an indoor-outdoor chapel off of our garden, off the parking lot, on H Street, on the H Street side of our property, where friends, parishioners, even non-Christians are welcome. All people are welcome to come on up one at a time and pay a visit to Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception, actually specifically Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal. This chapel was built as an overflow when so many people were coming to the Miraculous Medal Shrine inside the church. They needed overflow space where candles and flowers and things could be put. And how perfect that we now have that at our disposal. So I want to encourage people, feel free to come to the garden at St. Mary's, pray in front of the crucifix, and then walk up that ramp to the indoor-outdoor chapel and spend some time praying with Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal. Through really rough times in our history, like World War I and World War II, the faithful have availed themselves of this, and I want to make sure that we invite the faithful to do that now, right? Also, you can, as part of your giving love, bring food. There's a lot of people who are going to have a hard time, especially in the poorest parts of our city where school lunches are not necessarily available, etc. We are bringing our Lenten food drive food down to St. Francis Xavier Parish Food Pantry now. We're not waiting for the end of Lent. We're bringing our donations now. We've already sent 3 carloads down there, and as food comes in, we'll send more to assist our brothers and sisters in the most in-need parts of our city when it comes to food. And by the way, if you're one of the people who has, maybe given in a little bit to fear and run off to that supermarket and hoarded or grabbed some stuff that you really don't need, and you see that the markets will refill themselves, consider, go into your pantry, empty out some of that stuff, bring it to the altar of Our Lady, and give it to the poor, right? And ask Our Lady's intercession to end this time of challenge and difficulty sooner rather than later. We can also continue to give alms, right? And if you would like to give alms to the poor as a way of winning graces during this time of challenge, come to the front door of the rectory. If we're open during business hours, give it to the secretary, or you can slip it safely through the secure mail slot so that it's kept safe there, the almsgiving. Finally, I want to invite everybody to remember that as jarring and discombobulating as this time is, our parish is still doing the work of the gospel, right? Confessions are being heard every single day, right? We've made some provisions so that can be done safely and effectively every day. Just today, I think we had 6 people come to confession at midday. It was absolutely beautiful. Check our parish website for details, right? We are still saying masses. Every day the priests are saying masses for the intentions that you've requested. I said a requiem today for an individual whose sole family member came and joined me for that. That was beautiful. Prayers are still being offered. Individual counseling is still being offered to people. I've had 3 or 4 meetings over the last few days with individuals to do pastoral counseling with them, and wedding couples are still preparing for their marriages, right? So we are in many, many, many normal ways open for business. And that means we need the support of our community to keep that going, right? So please be sure, again, it's the most normal thing in the world. Whatever you would normally have given on Sunday, put it in the mail or make your pilgrimage to St. Mary's, drop it through the mail slot, and stop at the altar of Our Lady to say your prayers and be in communion with Our Lady and with our Lord until the fullness of our experience of the Blessed Sacrament is restored to us at the end of this emergency situation. Please do be sure to continue your parish support, because the parish is continuing to support God's people in this our time of need. Also, my promise to you, I will visit the sick. If anyone needs me, if anyone wants just to talk to somebody, whatever, wide open, I am your parish priest. I am available to you, okay? Now, I know a lot of our folks are spread out over a large, geography, so I do have to limit myself to the District of Columbia, the city of Washington, where the parish is most immediately present. But I am here, and if any of our parishioners from Virginia or Maryland want to talk by Skype, by phone, by FaceTime, whatever the case may be, I'm available to you. Please get in touch with me by email here at the parish so that we can stay in touch. I also encourage everyone to stay in touch with our parish social media at St. Mary DC in all the various social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Look up St. Mary's, St. Mary Mother of God in DC, and stay in touch with us that way for the latest updates on all that's going on here. It's not easy, right? It's no doubting this is a different time for us, but we're going to get through it. It's not much that's being asked of us. We're being asked to wash in the Jordan, and challenging as that might be to accept, like Naaman, we're going to be healed if we do it, right? We're going to be healed if we do it. So God bless you. Know that I'm thinking of you and praying for you. We're making provisions for some video masses for St. Joseph's Day and for Annunciation. Annunciation in particular, we've got some nice surprises in store, so stay tuned on that front. And know that I love you very much, and I'm praying for you and offering sacrifice with all the priests here in the house for your needs. God bless you.